President Tinubu made this call as he received elders from Rivers State and members of the Pan Niger Delta Forum at the State House in Abuja, where they expressed their worry over the disintegrating peace in the state brought about by the crisis between the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara, and other state lawmakers. Now, President Tinubu, while expressing his confidence in the judiciary, urged members of the forum to compel the governor to implement the judgment of the court in a bid to foster peace in the state.
Foremost among our concerns is the escalating political crisis in Rivers State, which poses a significant threat to national stability. Despite your fatherly efforts to mediate between the parties involved, the situation continues to deteriorate due to conflicting and contradictory court rulings. This protracted conflict is a matter of grave concern, as Rivers State is a strategic economic hub, particularly in the oil and gas sector, which we all know is the backbone of our national revenue.
This is a nation of rule of law. I should not be here as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria if there's no rule of law. I have total confidence in our judiciary. Expectations, human beings that make errors. But when the Supreme Court is spoken, they are said. Please go back home and help him implement those recommendations within the shortest possible time.
Now, to discuss this, we're joined by a public affairs analyst, Francis Chilaka. Thank you so much for joining us on the news, Francis.
Good morning.
Can you speak to us on the significance of the president's call for respecting judicial interpretation of the Constitution, especially resolving political crises in the Niger Delta region?
Well, for us who are observers of what's happening in Rivers State, the call by Mr. President is a continuation of his 8-point agenda when he had a meeting, the first meeting he had with all the various actors in Rivers State when he invited them to Abuja for a meeting. And for watchers, you would agree that that meeting was more like emphasizing on the rule of law, emphasizing on obeying the court injunction and all of that. And so we find out that what the Supreme Court too has handed out to Fubara is more like an affirmation of those 8-point agenda that was handed over to him in Abuja. So it is expected that the president would insist and cajole everybody to obey those the rulings of the Supreme Court, because they are more or less the position he has held from day one.
All right, now speaking of position, what role do you see the Pan Niger Delta Forum playing in fostering peace and stability in the region, considering the current political tensions in Rivers State?
The group can really do little because the main actor in this whole movie is not shifting grounds, and that is Wike, the FCT Minister. Everything just revolves around him. And if there's going to be peace in Rivers State, he needs to be the first one to shield his sword. And the way things are looking, if you listen to the utterances of these 2,600 State House of Assembly members, you'll find out that they are more interested in going to war rather than to judge. For them, it's either they want to push a narrative where the governor becomes a tool in their hands, and obviously that no governor would assent to that. So it's a very dicey one, and I honestly don't think that finding a solution lies in their hands. I believe that finding a solution lies in the hands of the 26 State House of Assembly members and the FCT Minister Wike.
All right, Francis, but do you think that, the president's appeal for more focus on the, larger vision of the Niger Delta's political and economic developments will be effective in easing the tensions between political leaders?
Well, you see, right now, the president and the mood of the nation is more interested in the resources they get from the Niger Delta, especially from Rivers State. So Mr. President would want to do everything to ensure that the goose that lays the golden egg keeps laying the egg. And for him, even if it means sacrificing the current governor, maybe by impeachment or whatever, that's what he's going to do. If it comes to the point where they need to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State, he will do that. It's not being done in the interest of the people. I must emphasize that. The peace initiatives are not being done in the interest of the people. It is rather being done in the interest of the economic benefits that comes from that part of the country.
All right. How important, is the role of the judiciary in maintaining peace and governance, in states like Rivers, where political leadership has been marked by conflict and rivalry for such a long time?
Well, we had expected, we had the law, we had serious expectations of the judiciary. But I can tell you this for free. A lot of Nigerians have lost faith in the judiciary. A lot of Nigerians have come to that conclusion that the judiciary is up for grabs for the highest bidder. Because there are some rulings by the Supreme Court, especially by the judiciary, that people are asking questions. People are wondering, these judges who sit to give these rulings, are they Nigerians or are they from out of space? So because right now, if you look at what is happening in Rivers State and you look at the position of the Supreme Court, you will find out that there's a missing link. And what is that missing link we're talking about? The judiciary is saying that we do not have concrete reasons, we do not have information as to the decamping or otherwise of these 26 honorable members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. But you hear the factionalized APC chairman, Okocha, saying that the governor must resign or to be impeached. He is an APC person. These are supposed to be PDP members of the State House of Assembly. So if they are not part of APC, why would an APC factional chairman be speaking on their behalf? Why would Wike, who we don't even know where he stands, whether he stands for PDP or APC, be taking a position that gives the impression to everybody that these people have decamped from the party that brought them to power? So we want to know, it appears that decamping has no consequences in Nigeria anymore. So you can just decamp and you move on with your life. The party that brings you to power stands to lose. And these are some of the things that we need to have a closure to. And that's why the review of electoral laws need to be done urgently. We need to know where we stand. Somebody cannot go and contest an election under, say, a party like PDP, and in 2-3 months, you're leaving the party that has given you mandate, and you're moving into another party, and you're retaining that mandate. We need to stop this, this recklessness, and it's getting out of hand. We need to stop it if we really want to save our democratic norms.
Okay. Well, just before, we let you go, Francis, speaking of democracy and all that, what are the continued risks, for political instability in Rivers State, for the overall development of the Niger Delta region, and how can those risks be mitigated?
Well, the only risk in Rivers State today is the risk of tussle of power, where the governor wants to maintain his power as executive governor of the state and the chief security officer. And then you have the State House of Assembly that's been divided into two. You have those who are, in his party and loyal to him, and you have those who we don't even know where they stand, whether they stand with the party that brought them to power or whether they're standing with APC, but they are bent on, pushing an agenda down the throat of the governor. And for them, if the governor does not buy into their own agenda, then the governor has to go. So it's a very, for me, I keep saying it, it's a very dicey situation we have in Rivers State. And if it continues, if Rivers State, with the way it is going, goes up in flames, it will affect the entire country. So the only way to mitigate that right now is for all the actors to shield their sword. It is better to judge than to war. And I keep saying to the state assembly members, let there be a common ground for the governor and you people to be able to move the state forward. What they are doing is that they are all stagnating the growth and development of Rivers State. And the people who are suffering it are the Rivers State indigents. So I'm saying this with all sense of responsibility. Let us not have another situation we have in Imo State right now, where unknown gunmen and non-state actors are having a field day. If it happens in Rivers State, it is going to be disastrous, not only for the people, but for the economic development of the entire country.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Francis, for your time and for speaking to us on this.
You're welcome. Have a lovely day.
You too.